Before Bad Bunny had girls screaming in 5 languages, and way before the whole world started dancing to Karol G and Rauw Alejandro, there was Enrique, cool, quiet, and casually running the entire Latin pop game without breaking a sweat. Enrique didn't just ride the Latin pop wave, he built the surfboard. And while newer stars get all the viral love now, they're walking through doors Enrique kicked down years ago. You ever see a guy in a regular old baseball cap and plain tee and just assume he's your average Joe? Yeah, don't do that with Enrique Iglesias, because behind that low-key outfit is a global superstar who's racked up more streams and views than most pop stars combined. We're talking about a man with over 20 billion views on YouTube alone. That's billion, with a B. He's not just popular, he's decorated like a Christmas tree, with 6 Grammy Awards, 7 American Music Awards, 5 Billboard trophies, and a bunch more that probably don't even fit in one room. And that's why the industry, and the fans, call him what he is, the king of Latin pop. But here's where it gets really interesting. Before the screaming fans, the sold-out arenas, and the sexy music videos, Enrique Miguel Iglesias Preisler was just a shy kid born in Madrid, Spain, on May 8, 1975. And yes, if that name sounds bougie, it's because it kinda is. His mom, Isabel Preisler, was a high society queen in Madrid, and his dad? Oh, just Julio Iglesias, one of the most legendary Latin singers in history. So yeah, Enrique didn't exactly grow up eating cereal off plastic spoons. But being born into music royalty didn't mean life was all glam and red carpets. After a terrifying incident, his grandfather was kidnapped. His parents shipped young Enrique off to Miami for safety. And guess what? His famous dad was too busy touring the world, so most of Enrique's childhood was raised by his nanny, Elvira Olivares, who ended up becoming one of the most important people in his life. He even dedicated his first album to her. By the time he hit his teens, Enrique was already catching the music bug. He had his first taste of the stage in a school play, Hello, Dolly, at his super fancy Miami school, Gulliver Prep. But instead of becoming a full theater kid, he started secretly performing at local restaurants with his friends. Keyword, secretly. The guy was literally living a double life. Teen by day, heartthrob in training by night. And guess what? While most Nepo babies would have milked their last names for all the industry perks, Enrique ran the other way. Man went full-on secret agent, using fake names like Enrique Martinez just so people would know he was his father's son. And guess what? That gamble eventually paid off, big time. By 1995, he landed his first record deal and dropped his debut album, Enrique Iglesias, and the album went wild. We're talking gold in Portugal in 1 week. 1 week. People were snatching those CDs like it was Black Friday. In total, over 6 million copies sold worldwide from a debut without riding his dad's coattails. I need you to understand how mind-blowing that is. Of course, the industry took serious notice. In 1996 alone, Enrique started stacking awards like Jenga blocks, Grammy for Best Latin Performer, Billboard Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, and a couple of American Music Awards for good measure. Then came his 1997 follow-up, Vivir, and again, Enrique delivered. Another 5 million in sales, and this time, he took the show on the road with his first ever world tour. Fans across continents were losing it. The voice, the face, the hair, it was all working. But 1999 was the turning point. Enter Will Smith. Yep, that Will Smith. He caught one of Enrique's concerts and was so blown away, he invited him to contribute a track to the Wild Wild West soundtrack. The result? Bailamos. You already know that song's smooth, steamy, and dangerously catchy. And just like that, Enrique exploded into the English-speaking world. Bailamos snatched the #1 spot in the US. Later that same year, he dropped his first all-English album, simply titled Enrique. This wasn't just him dipping a toe into the pop market. He cannonballed in with tracks like Rhythm Divine, Be With You, and a certain steamy duet with Whitney Houston that had the entire industry talking. Could I Have This Kiss Forever was a moment. The chemistry between Whitney and Enrique was off the charts. The song topped charts across Europe and even landed on Whitney's own greatest hits album in 2000. When you're featured on a Legends compilation, you've officially made it. Now, just when everyone thought Enrique was nothing but a pretty face with catchy pop hits, he pulled a move that made everyone sit up straight. Back in the early 2000s, U.S. radio personality and full-time button pusher Howard Stern tried to embarrass him by airing a clip of him allegedly lip-syncing, with the vocals sounding way off. Most stars would have ignored it, maybe thrown out a PR statement, but not Enrique. This man showed up at Stern's studio and performed live. Of course, some people still insisted that he could not sing, but that bold little move made him even more popular, and the press couldn't get enough. In 2001, Enrique dropped what would become the biggest album of his career, Escape. Not only was this his second English-language album, but Enrique also co-wrote it himself, and it was stacked with hits like Escape, Maybe, Don't Turn Off the Lights, and of course, the timeless Hero. Hero especially took on a life of its own after the 9/11 attacks. The song became an emotional anthem of comfort and was performed live in NYC. From there, things got spicy. Instead of choosing between English or Spanish, Enrique decided to do both. And back then, that was bold. The markets were still pretty divided. Spanish songs on Latin radio, English tracks on Top 40. However, his album Quizás, released in 2002, didn't just appeal to his Spanish-speaking fans, it started sneaking into mainstream US radio. Slowly but surely, he was chipping away at that language barrier, and people were loving it. By 2010, he was ready to smash the wall completely. That year, he dropped Euphoria, his first full-on bilingual album, and the timing couldn't have been better. Suddenly, Spanish and English songs were living side by side on playlists, and Enrique was at the center of it all. Tracks like the sultry Ayer warmed fans' hearts, but it was the party starter I Like It featuring Pitbull that had everybody dancing like there was no tomorrow. But behind the scenes, drama was brewing. Turns out I Like It had a long, messy history. It was originally recorded back in 2007 with rapper T.I. and was meant to be part of Enrique's 2008 Greatest Hits album, but his label at the time, Interscope Records, just wasn't feeling it. So, when things got too tense between Enrique and the label, especially around that song, he walked. He jumped ship to Republic Records under Monty Lipman's leadership and turned I Like It into a certified monster hit. The song peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and ended up becoming his biggest chart success since Hero. Not only that, it helped breathe new life into Euphoria, which got a refreshed 2011 edition featuring another smash, Tonight, I'm Loving You, which also shot up to number 4. Enrique had officially morphed into a full-blown dance pop king, stacking up number 1 singles on Billboard's dance chart like it was a hobby. Yes, even more than Michael Jackson and Prince. And let's not forget the tours, because Enrique was cashing in. His 2011 Euphoria tour raked in over $30 million, and his 2012 joint tour with Jennifer Lopez brought in another $21 million. By 2014, Enrique had already done a lot, but he still wasn't slowing down. Nope, he came back with a bold new album called Sex and Love. No guessing, no hidden meaning, just straight up sex and love. And trust me, this album was everywhere. There were 4 different versions of it, one on iTunes, one for international fans, one at Target, and another at Walmart. He had songs in both English and Spanish, and so much content that even his collabs with Kylie Minogue and Jennifer Lopez ended up as bonus tracks. Can you imagine having J-Lo on your song and calling it extra? Only Enrique. He didn't just drop the album and walk away either. He made sure different versions of his songs hit different markets, for example, and a pop remix, while Loco had 2 versions, one with Romeo Santos and another with India Martinez. Enrique knew his fans and he gave them exactly what they wanted. Now here's the funny part. Even with all that going on, Sex and Love didn't make a huge splash right away. It debuted at number 1, 8 on the Billboard 200 with around 24,000 copies sold. The next week, it dropped to number 42nd, but Enrique knew how these things worked. His last album, Euphoria, didn't blow up overnight either. It took over a year and a half before it gave him 2 top 5 hits. Meanwhile, in his personal life, things were still solid as ever. Enrique and Anna Kournikova have been going strong since 2001, when they met on the set of his Escape video. And yes, That chemistry you saw on camera? It was very real. They've been together ever since. No scandal, no drama, no wedding, at least not publicly. But they do have 3 kids, twins Nicholas and Lucy, born in 2017, and their youngest, Mary, who arrived in 2020. People have always been curious about why they haven't gotten married. Fair enough. But then his brother Julio randomly went on Spanish TV in 2023 and hinted that Enrique and Ana might have gotten married in secret. So maybe they did have a private wedding, or maybe he's just waiting for. Either way, they're clearly doing something right. Fans, on the other hand, are still obsessed. One woman literally swam through Biscayne Bay just to get to Enrique's backyard. Another tried to kiss him on stage and wouldn't let go. But Enrique doesn't seem to mind. He's always been super affectionate with his fans during shows. And according to him, Anna's never gotten jealous. That's a strong woman right there. Over the years, Enrique's had his fair share of "wait, what?" moments, like in 2003 when he had the mole under his right eye removed, not because of vanity, but because doctors were worried it could turn cancerous. And who could forget 2015? During a concert in Tijuana, he tried to grab a drone mid-performance, because why not? And it sliced his fingers open. He bled on stage and still finished the show before flying to LA for surgery. Then, in 2023, we learned something even wilder. He has a rare genetic condition called situs inversus. Basically, his internal organs are flipped, like everything is on the opposite side. Heart, stomach, liver, mirror image of what's normal. Thankfully, it doesn't affect his health, but it's just one more thing that makes Enrique, well, Enrique. Career-wise, he shocked fans in 2021 when he announced he'd only be releasing 2 more albums. Final Volume 1 came out that September, and in April 2024, Final Volume 2 officially closed the chapter. He's not quitting music entirely. He just doesn't want to stress about full albums anymore. These days, he's focused more on his family and doesn't want to be away from his kids for long stretches. Can't blame him. Even though he's stepping back a bit, Enrique is still very much in his bag. He's 49 now, worth around $100 million, and still making major moves. Just recently, he sold his entire music catalog and image rights to influence media partners in a deal reportedly worth $100 million. No one confirmed the exact number, but it was big. The goal? More licensing, more exposure, and probably a few more coins in his pocket. And if you forgot, Enrique's done a little acting too. He had a role in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Popped up on How I Met Your Mother.
Are you legally certified by some type of governing entity?
I trained for 3 years at an institute in Buenos Aires.
And even made an appearance on 2.5 Men.
See you later, Fernando.
Thank you for your thoughtful soup, as your beauty nourishes my soul.
Honestly, at this point, there's not much he hasn't done. So while he might not be dropping full albums anymore, Enrique Iglesias is far from done. He's just choosing peace, privacy, and parenthood. And after everything he's given us, he's earned every bit of it.